Have you ever walked away in silence, yet felt him thinking about you, wondering why your absence lingers in his mind more than your presence ever did? There is a room where time does not exist, where two souls stand separated by nothing more than air. He watches her. She feels his gaze like warmth on skin, yet neither one will speak. This is the nature of desire unfulfilled, the wanting that lives in the spaces we dare not cross. She turns away slowly. Her silhouette dissolves into shadow. He remains frozen, watching what could have been. The mirror on the wall reflects nothing but empty space. Even their reflections cannot touch. What keeps us from the ones we want most? Is it fear, pride, or something darker still? The mind builds walls no hand can break. We imprison ourselves in chambers of our own making. He remembers the first time he saw her, standing in a doorway, light framing her like a painting. Even then he knew, some doors are meant to be approached but never opened. She spoke first, her voice like water in a desert, and he drank every word without reply. Silence can say more than words ever could. His silence spoke volumes she pretended not to hear. Days became weeks. Weeks became months. The distance between them grew with each unspoken truth. She began wearing veils, thin fabric that hid her eyes but not her longing. He learned to look without seeing, to be in her presence without truly being there. This is how we protect ourselves. We build invisible barriers that feel stronger than stone. The subconscious knows what the conscious mind refuses to admit, pulls us toward what we fear most. At night he dreams of crossing the room, of reaching out, of finally closing the distance. But in dreams as in life, his feet remain rooted, paralyzed by the weight of might-have-beens. She dreams too, of a touch that never comes, of words that die before they reach her ears. Two people can share the same room and still be worlds apart. Proximity is not intimacy. The mirrors multiply their loneliness, each reflection showing a version that might have loved. In one reflection she reaches out, in another he speaks her name, but in reality neither moves. What would happen if one of them simply said the truth? If courage finally won over fear? But fear is a seductive master. It whispers that safety lives in silence, in distance, in walls. And so they remain, two planets in orbit, close enough to feel the gravity, too far to collide. He catalogues every detail of her face, the curve of her jaw, the way light catches her hair. These are the treasures he hoards in silence. Memories of a woman he sees but cannot hold. She knows he watches, every nerve alive to his presence, pretending not to feel his gaze. We become performers in our own lives, playing roles that keep us safe but never satisfied. The chamber grows darker as candles burn low. Shadows stretch across the space between them. Time is running out. It always is. Yet we waste it building walls instead of bridges. One day she will be gone. One day he will be nothing but a memory she tried to forget. But today she turns. For a moment their eyes meet. The air between them becomes electric. In that instant every unspoken word hangs in the balance. The universe holds its breath. Will he speak? Will she stay? Or will the moment shatter like all the ones before? His lips part. A sound emerges, but it dies in his throat, swallowed by doubt. She sees his struggle. For a moment compassion breaks through. She almost reaches out. Almost. The cruelest word in any language. The territory of regret and roads not taken. She withdraws. The veil falls back across her face. The distance returns like an old friend. And yet something has changed. The almost was seen. The intention revealed if not fulfilled. This is how we love from a distance. In stolen glances and interrupted gestures. We convince ourselves that protection is wisdom, that vulnerability is weakness, that distance is strength. But the heart knows better. The heart always knows. It beats for connection, not isolation. His heart speaks to him in the silence. It says her name over and over like a prayer. Her heart answers in ways she cannot hear, reaching through the darkness toward something unnamed. If walls have ears, these walls have witnessed centuries of love unexpressed. They are not the first to stand in this chamber, not the first to choose silence over risk. But understanding our patterns does not break them. Awareness alone is not enough. Change requires action. A single step across the impossible space. A word spoken into void. Yet action is precisely what terrifies us most. The uncertainty of response. The possibility of rejection. Better to live in beautiful longing than to risk ugly truth. Or so the fearful mind believes. She moves to the window, looking out at a world she cannot touch, just as she cannot touch him. Outside life continues. People touch, speak, love openly. Inside the chamber time stands still. He watches her watching the world, longing for her longing, a reflection of a reflection. What would it mean to break the cycle, to shatter the glass that separates them from life? The glass is not in the window. It is in their minds, built from fear and reinforced by time. Every day they do not speak, the glass grows thicker. Every avoided glance adds another layer, until one day the glass will be too thick to ever break, and they will die behind invisible walls. But today is not that day. Today the glass is thin enough to shatter with a single word. She turns from the window, in her eyes a question, a challenge. A vulnerability she rarely shows. He sees it, the invitation written in silence, the door opening that has been closed so long. Time slows, his heart pounds. Every fiber of his being pulls toward her like tide to moon. And then fear arrives, that old familiar friend, whispering all the reasons to stay still. What if she rejects you? What if the reality destroys the dream? What if you are not enough? These are the questions that paralyze, the what-ifs that murder possibility before it can be born. But there is another voice, quieter, deeper, the voice of what could be if courage prevails. That voice says one simple thing, the same thing it has always said. Try, just try. He takes a breath, the deepest breath of his life, and something shifts inside him. His foot moves, an inch at first. Then another. The impossible journey of 1,000 miles begins. She sees him moving. Her breath catches. She had almost given up hope. Almost. That word again. Almost. But this time it is different. This time almost becomes finally. Step by step he crosses the chamber. Each footfall echoes like a heartbeat. Closer. Closer. The mirrors watch in wonder, showing reflections that never existed before. A future being born. She does not move away. She does not hide. For once she lets herself be seen without the veil. The veil falls to the floor. A piece of armor discarded. A wall deliberately broken. He reaches the place where she stands. The distance that seemed infinite is suddenly nothing. Face to face for the first time without barriers. Breath touching breath. Hearts almost audible. Still no words. But words are no longer needed. Some truths speak through silence alone. His hand rises slowly, moving toward her face. The touch he has imagined 1,000 times. She closes her eyes, surrendering to the moment, letting go of every fear that held her back. Contact. Fingertips on cheek. The world does not end. The sky does not fall. Life goes on. But for them everything changes. The walls crumble. The glass shatters. The distance dies. In one moment of courage, years of longing find their answer. The waiting is over. The chamber that held them apart now witnesses their union. The mirrors reflect completion. This is what waits on the other side of fear. Not destruction, but creation. Not ending, but beginning. The space between us is only as wide as we allow it to be. Cross it, before it is too late.